going to I'm gonna try something real quick. I'm gonna try something real quick.
Oh, hey there, everyone. Happy Cyberpunk Day or week or month or year, whatever it is. I'm Brian Altano. This is Max Scoville. And if you're watching this, you probably know that
Damn, he
Cyberpunk
said
2077,
that fast.
after 8 years
Eight
of
and a half,
announcement, 8.5 of announcement development, is finally out in the wild. Millions of people are playing it. It got something like 8 million pre-orders. I think more and more people are buying it by the second. Now, a thing we're noticing now that it's finally out there is that a lot of players, millions of players who are playing the game on consoles, are running into some technical issues, frame rate, pop-in, weird, bizarre, funny glitches, very low resolution compared to the PC counterparts. Now, obviously, this is not entirely surprising because this is a game that has scaled very publicly to high-end, big video cards who are capable of rendering this massive, amazing, gorgeous-looking open-world game in the best quality possible. But CD Projekt Red kind of kept the console version of this game a secret for a while. Our own reviewer, Tom Marks, gave the game a 9 out of 10, but we did not have any access pre-release to the console versions of this game. We were just able to play it on PC, as were every other reviewer. Some versions of that game were leaked through retail stores like Best Buy, so players were able to get their hands on it early, but CDPR was pulling down videos of those versions early on. So technically, until launch, we didn't really know what this game looked like on consoles until now.
Right.
What do you have to say about this, Max?
So it doesn't look great, and this is a game that's been delayed 3 times this year. On base PS4 and Xbox One S or One launch, whatever. It looks pretty busted. Like, it looks very low res. It's buggy as hell. There are bugs across the board on all systems, and CDPR has a good track record of addressing bugs and patching them and everything. But one argument we've been seeing is that people saying that, yeah, it's stupid for anybody to expect a game this ambitious and arguably next gen to run on 7-year-old hardware, because the launch PS4 and the launch Xbox One are getting pretty long in the tooth. That's an older system at this point, and we had that weird kind of half step with the Pro and the One X, which presumably run it a little bit better. But people are saying that you should be playing this on next gen console.
Now, I have to pause it on that, because when I got my PlayStation 4, I didn't have too much money. Well, I had money, but I had to worry about more important things than buying a $400 system. So I bought my PlayStation 4 on eBay for like $250 something. And this was in, I think I ordered it at the end of July 2016, and then I got it somewhere like in it was August, like August 5th or something. But in the time, my friend was like, the PlayStation Pro was coming out, so like, I mean, the same games was going to come on both systems, so it's like you're just paying for the graphics, and then some of it is kind of like, but he bought it. But when he got it, he was experiencing his games crashing. So it was like, I'm stuck with the PlayStation 4. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, the PlayStation 5 is going to come out sometime soon. So why spend $400 something, or like, well, in my case, $250, something around that, $250, $270. But why spend a lot of money on a system, and then you want us to spend more money on PlayStation 4.5 when the 5 is going to come out soon? But who knows when it will come out? Maybe next year, 2 years from now, who knows? Now looking at it, it came out in 2020. So that's the story on that. That's the story on that. Continue.
If you want to get the best experience, which is a little bit unfair because it doesn't currently exist for next-gen consoles. If you buy it on PS5, it has a little PS4 in the corner. It is still only available as a last-gen game. If you go on Amazon and you search Xbox Series X Cyberpunk 2077, it pulls up.
Now that sounds like false advertising.
The Xbox One version, which then gets the whole smart delivery treatment to upres all the things, and same with PS4 to PS5. This game was announced a year before the PS4 and Xbox One came out.
See?
This game got its first trailer in January of 2013, a whole, better part of a year before those consoles even launched. So I think it's safe to say that CDPR has had a good amount of time to figure out what will and won't work on those systems, and it's kind of unfair to anybody who is playing on one of those base systems that they're getting this kind of experience.
Yeah, I agree. I do think it's not exactly fair that this version was shielded from players for so long. Some reasons behind that is, one, like you alluded to, there is currently no native next-gen version of this game playable on PS5 or Series X. That will be available next year, and you will get upgrades for free. It is worth mentioning right now, benefit of the doubt, CD Projekt Red has historically been awesome about this kind of stuff. They constantly tinker and work on their games, update them, offer free patches, free upgrades, hand out meaty content drops for free. Sometimes, obviously there's paid DLC as well. This is not necessarily a situation where they will just drop this game and forget it exists.
So I highly doubt that. Again, it's a pretty good move of them to be like, hey, if you get this game on last gen, you automatically get it upgraded to the next gen version if you're playing on next gen hardware, which is cool as hell. But it is sort of weird to have it, to have it sort of so tied so closely, to have this release date aligned with next gen consoles, and then to only have the last gen version available. And then when you stop and think about it, the original Cyberpunk 2077 launch date was April of last year. They announced that at E3 2019. They came out. Keanu Reeves told us all we were breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
And he sold the game to everybody.
Thanks, Keanu. And then they said it's coming to Xbox One and PS4 in April, because the next gen hardware hadn't been officially announced or revealed at that point. So this has always been a last gen game. So to be like, oh, you're not playing it on next gen hardware is like completely. That sucks. That's totally not fair to say.
Meanwhile, we literally didn't know what the PS5 looked like until August of 2020 this year, which is in between several of the release dates that Cyberpunk was supposed to get. And
exactly.
So
it's running great on super high-end PC hardware, which that's always been kind of CDPR's focus, and that rules if you've got a PC that can run it. They've been kind of marketing alongside NVIDIA, showing off some of the cool ray tracing stuff, and that rules. And it's great if you've got that kind of next-gen level rig that can really power it. But I just can't help but feel like either they didn't target consoles properly, or this game should have stayed in the oven a bit longer. Right, I'm feeling like maybe we're all playing kind of an early access game here.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is a bummer, because obviously
exactly
people are running into some issues on even the most high-end PCs. But I will say that from what we've seen,
that's exactly how that shit feels. It literally feels like he said, like some early access shit. It's basic. And then you know what? Here's the thing I notice about a lot of these games. When they have problems like this, just like with Red Dead Redemption talking about the online was beta and we're looking for your feedback and all this shit. Basically, they're using their player base as free beta testers. Like, we're paying to be beta testers. And they just take our feedback and be like, okay, this is what we need to fix. I guess whoever has the most complaints, like whatever it is, that's going to be the thing that we're going to that's the thing that we're going to focus on. But we're just beta testers at this point. That's not getting paid by the company. But it's not the player base's job to beta test your shit. You come out with a product, it should work when you buy it. I shouldn't have to wait for you to do some shit. It's like say if you buy a heater, you buy a space heater or whatever for however much. I should have to wait 6 months to a year for you to give me some heat. I want to get hot now. I shouldn't have to wait for you. I got the base thing, but then it's like, oh, I gotta wait for you to put some heat in the bitch. What the fuck is up with that? Why should people have to wait for you to get good after people spent $60. Then then what he was saying was false advertisement. You're gonna basically put out the PC version, like trailers and all that. Everybody's gonna assume, okay, this is how it's gonna look on the PlayStation 4 Pro, because it was supposed to come out April 16th. So it's like, come on, dude. And then I think the next time they said they was gonna make a release date was like in September. They postponed it in April, said I think it was gonna come out in September. Then it was November 19th, and now it's December 10th. So we're all assuming that it's gonna be PlayStation shit. Like, this is what you're seeing, what everybody's seeing is what's gonna be available for all platforms. So now all of a sudden, oh, it was the PC version we showed you, not the console. And that's why there was some sneaky shit where people couldn't even show the console version, or let's be hush-hush about it. So the gullible assholes could sit up there and buy it, thinking it's going to run on all the shit. And then I'm going to let him get to his point later. I'm going to let him get to his point later.
Sort of anecdotally and also internally here at IGN, the game is running better on Series X and PS5 when you're playing the base console versions of it. However, those systems are basically impossible to find right now unless you get lucky in the store, hitting F5 on a website over and over, or battling scalpers and robots in the streets. It's not exactly easy to take that pathway if you want it. The reason this feels kind of gross to me, and that's...
Now we're going to wait till he gets to this gross shit. Now see, that's what I'm saying. I was like, okay, the PlayStation was going to come out November 12th, and then Cyberpunk was going to come out November 19th. So it was like, okay, I'm about to buy this shit. I'm going to buy this shit. A matter of fact, if I really wanted to, because now we talk about 4 years later from when I bought the original PlayStation. Oh, I could get the digital and the disc tray version and still sleep at night. I can have two of them bitches now. You know what I'm saying? Like, people came up in the world a little bit. But then it was like, it's all sold out. So I was like, all right. I didn't trip too hard on that, but I was kind of like, okay, like the pre-orders. But then it was like, later, nobody could ever get the shit. So I'm like, okay, what's really going on? Then you hear that bots, it's like he said, bot scalpers and all this shit, they're buying up the PlayStations and selling them for $1,000 something. Again, I could buy, even if they was like putting them up for $1,000 something. It's like, if I really wanted to, fuck the $400 and $300 version, I could put out what is it? I could buy the shit for $1,000 twice. But why would anybody in their right mind do that though? Like, you would have to be like rich, or you would have to be like saying, fuck it, I just want a PlayStation 5 that bad. But at the same time though, you shouldn't have to do that, because you shouldn't have to be fighting these scalpers, number one. Two, whoever bought all that shit, I really hope, because they were saying like, oh, we trying to feed our families. Fuck that. Fuck your families. I really hope y'all don't sell this shit and y'all got a gang of PlayStations and lost a lot of money, because that's bullshit. That is bullshit. I mean, dude, stop. Then on top of that, you're buying a system that was fucking up people's, like, the rest mode was fucked up. It was crashing games. They couldn't play the shit. So everybody would be buying into a system that was fucked up from day one. So even if you spent $400 something plus, and the scalp version, you was buying a bad product in the first place, and then you gotta wait for motherfuckers to fix the shit. Why are people accepting this shit in 2020? These companies, this is not their, especially for PlayStation. You made the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and then Slim, and 4, and then 4 Slim, 4 Pro, now the 5. It's like you have your experience to know what works in these systems, and you're still fucking up. Like, the shit does not make sense in this day and age. Cyberpunk, like, you, CD Projekt Red, you know, you should have just been up front. I don't understand why these companies want to put out false advertisement, lowball people, and act like people are not going to at least vent their frustration. And my gripe when the whole shit started was it wasn't in third person. I had a falling out with an internet friend because this particular person doesn't want to grow up, and I was basically trashing their favorite tabletop game for not being in motherfucking third person, even though when they had the announcement, that person got emotional in the first place. So apparently this person wanted the shit in third person also. So when I had the balls to sit up there and be like, fuck CD Projekt Red and fuck Cyberpunk for doing the shit, they want to get upset. But anyway, so fuck that person anyway. So you have these products, you should be upfront with people and be like, okay, look, this is how this is going to be. We're going to tell people the truth. Just tell people the truth. Just fix it. But then, you wouldn't have to be worrying about telling people the truth if you already did your job by making sure everything was right, your I's was dotted, your T's was crossed. If you did the shit from day one, and then you'd be like, here's the game, everybody. This is how it is on this system. This is how it is. Just everybody rock out with your cock out. And the people would have been like, okay, cool. Right? If everybody was just upfront with the shit from day motherfucking one. I wouldn't put out my shit that I'm working on now because people, for some reason, is having this like cognitive dissonance. Like, oh, a black guy actually is a game developer, and you could clearly see this shit on my page, on my channel. I'm actually making this shit. Anyway, but I wouldn't put out a product. Me, for instance, I wouldn't be putting out my shit if it's that bad. Because I would complain. Because I hate this shit. I don't... Look. I thought about this. There should be... I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. What's today? It's December 12th, 2020. It's 10:24 a.m. I'm saying this now. This is some real shit, and this is bold. Motherfucker, I should be at the top of this committee because I came up with this shit. There should literally be, I came up with the name, it's called VGOC, Video Game Oversight Committee. This committee basically gets everybody's games before they release them shits. Whenever they say we need to change that gold standard shit, like when a game goes gold, because if Cyberpunk went gold and this is the best they can do, obviously this fool's gold, or they went aluminum foil. Like, what the fuck is this? If you went gold. So, soon as a company says our games go gold, the VGOC should be like, okay, give us your game. We sign NDAs. Nobody says nothing about it. But we play the shit on all platforms. We document the bugs, glitches, and we send the shit back to the company, be like, yo, this is what you need to fix. Fix the shit. You got, I would say a year. Because I even said that with my shit. When my shit is finished, I will play that shit for a year. If there's problems, I'm be like, yo, I'm going to holler at my team. This got to get fixed. So these companies have a year to fix whatever they got to fix. If you don't fix that shit, then you just can't come out with your game. Or you can't come out with it until you fix the shit. You got a year. I haven't ironed out all the logistics and all that shit, but as far as I know, you have a year to fix the problems. That's just how it is. And then once you fix the problems and then we replay it and be like, okay, you fixed this, everything is cool, everything is straight. Now it goes platinum. Because that's better than gold. You can't say your shit went gold and this is the best you got. So the shit goes platinum. Then you could release it. Then you can make a release date. But you can't be saying this is coming out then, like at a certain time, like August 20th. And then your shit got bugs, and then people gonna be complaining, because you don't want people complaining about your shit now, because you got social media, my dude. People gonna roast your ass all day. So to stop people from putting the ovens to 350 and preheating them shits, fix your shit before you put it out there. So it should be literally a video game oversight committee. I'm stating I want to start this shit. Mark my words, I want to start this shit. That's what it's called. It's just like how there's companies like how they made the video game rating, like E for everyone, T for teens, and M for mature, and all that shit. It should be a committee just like that. It's just a committee. We sign NDAs, and we play the shit. We find out you got groundbreaking shit like this, game breaking shit. You got to go back, bro, and fix this shit within this time period, and then release the shit. And there literally should be penalties. Like, if you don't fix it, then you can't come out with this game, period. You got to scrap this shit. Like, oh, but we put millions of dollars in it. Well, that's the price you pay for making bullshit like this and not caring about the fucking craft. Why the fuck you coming out with some shit? And it's like, what the fuck is this? Why you release? Like, it's almost like you don't care about the shit. Like I said, I came from the old school. You bought a game, the shit ran. The shit was cool. You didn't have to worry about patches. Like, you come out with a day one patch, so you already know internally you fucked up some shit. That's why you got to come out with a patch in day one? Obviously, you know it was fucked up from the start. So why you release the shit knowing you got to have a day one patch? You should have already been like, let's fix this shit right here and now. And then put the shit out there when everything was fixed. Like, then again, you telling me you had a release date November 19th. You delayed it and said it's coming out December 10th because we got to fix. Like, we got to make sure it runs on all, like, 8 platforms? It was like the PlayStation, the Xbox, what's it called, Stadia or some shit like that. So you telling me out of all, so from November 19th to December, you didn't see this shit popping up like that? Come on, dude. See, that's what I'm saying. It should be a committee to look at this shit, but like CD Projekt Red, nope. If people get mad, then that's too bad. It's too bad. Come out with some real shit so people wouldn't have to be going through this right now. I mean, I'm even thinking about calling PlayStation like, yo, I want my motherfucking money back. It's been 2 days. I want my motherfucking money back. And you know people are complaining about it. So it's not like I'm making this shit up. On some real shit. So this committee should play everybody. It don't even matter. It doesn't matter if it's indie games, AAA, whatever. It should be a committee of a couple hundred people maybe playing these games and letting people know what's up. Because like I said, back in my day, the only game that had a real major problem from when I started playing games till now was the Matrix game when just didn't work after a certain point. I can't remember what mission, but it just didn't work, and that was back in '03. So at this point, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be having games that actually works right, especially in this day and age. Why are people accepting subpar bullshit? Come on, man, this shit is foul. So anyway, continue, dudes from IGN.
That's a word I'll definitely just throw out here, is that this is a game that is being specifically marketed on the front ends of the digital and physical storefronts for current gen consoles everywhere. PR released the pre-order stats: 8 million copies pre-ordered. 59% of those pre-orders came on PC. Not surprising. This is, sort of like interconnected with the mindshare of PC gamers. But 41% of those pre-order sales came from console gamers who did not really know what this game looked like outside of highly curated videos released specifically from the developer leading up to launch, which means that a lot of players had to drop that $60 down themselves to start playing last night and today to figure out exactly how this game looked and played. And many of them I've seen are asking for refunds because they're not happy with it. The resolution is low, draw distance is low. There's ridiculous, glitches and pop-ins. Some of them are like very funny too, which is great. I mean, I love stuff like that. And again, this will grow, this will evolve, this will change. This is a game that will continue to get patched. But I do feel like a significant portion of the audience.
Why should I have to wait for some shit evolving when I buy the shit for $60? That's like a motherfucker, you buy a car and you gotta wait for the car to evolve. Like, oh, it doesn't have no windshield, no steering wheel, all four wheels are gone, but it has potential. I mean, whatever car company, car manufacturer, like, oh, we're basing it off of goodwill, and we just have to wait for them to give us the windshield and steering wheel and patch this, and oh, the gas tank doesn't work properly, but we gotta wait for this car company to patch the shit. Like, what the fuck is this? I mean, people spending mad money for this shit. This should work off the lot. Back in my day, when you buy a game and a system or console, whatever adjective you want to use, it worked. Day one, you didn't have to wait for no maintenance. You had to wait for no patch and these companies to fix the shit. You bought the shit. You had the box in your hand. You paid for the shit. You went home. You hooked it up to your TV and you did what you have to do. It was none of this shit. Why are people accepting this shit? This shit should not be like the norm. And then, side note but not a side note. Please tell me. I want CD Projekt Red to whatever they want to do. But how come you have to get into the car with triangle? No, not triangle. Square. Why you gotta press square to get into the shit? Just press square. And then you gotta hold circle to exit out the vehicle. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck is this? GTA, Watch Dogs, and I'm pretty sure a couple other people just have one button to get in and out of vehicles, and it was just square. Why did you have to be like so different that you had to use two different buttons to get in and out of vehicles? Look, I already made the configuration. I already wrote down the configuration to my game. And it's in the PlayStation style. Cause I like PlayStation. I do like PlayStation. I had PlayStation first. I had an Xbox. My friend gave it to me. But whatever. But you could configure it, from both systems. I wouldn't use the same button, two different buttons, for basically the same different action. Like, you press square to get into a car, then at least you should press square to get out of it. Why you press a square to get in, and then you're holding circle to get out? You don't have to hold triangle. I mean, you don't have to hold square to get in. So it's like almost like a 2 actions and a half. How come you just can't? Okay, you press square to get in, you just press circle to get out, but you got me holding it. Like, this shit doesn't make sense. I really feel that they should have honestly just said, just copy what Rockstar did. Just copy what GTA did. This is GTA in the future. People would have kind of a little roasting. It just been a tad, but it wouldn't have been that bad. But it was almost like, again, you had to, like, how you get out of edit mode and brain dance, and it's in third person, and then you could look in the mirror in third person. Like, you literally did everything to dance around to actually make it into a solid third person camera rig, even though you had the third person camera rig in the Witcher games. You could have literally just copied and pasted all the shit in your game from Witcher to Cyberpunk, and just then it could have already came standard in first person. Then you could go into the settings and just switch third person for everything. Cause I think Ghost Recon Wildlands did the shit. I think it was in first, but then you go into the settings and just switch it to third, like I did. You could have just literally did that. It just would have been your little secret. Like, if you just digged enough in the settings, you all like, oh shit, third person. And if people would have just had the choice, if you wanted to make it just first person only, you could have just easily did that. That wouldn't have took that much to do it. If you already technically have it in the game with the brain dance shit. And the mirror, you're doing everything but that. I'm like, come on, dude. It's I don't know who made that decision, but they need to fire that person for real. They need to fire the people who made that decision. They could have just said, fuck it. Or just had like a switch. Like, okay, it's just standard first, but you press the interaction button or do something somewhere, you could just switch to third. Nobody would have complained. I mean, people were more complaining about your shit with all these bugs than anything. But, I mean, I don't know. What do I know?
Here is a little bit blindsided and a little bit ripped off by the fact that they didn't necessarily know what they were buying, and they're kind of getting the short end of the stick here. And I don't think that's exactly fair, because I do feel like if this was happening with a different company, maybe some of the more notable ones that get kind of like, you know, dragged down when they understandably do some bad stuff.
But first of all, if EA made a game that people wanted this badly, that would be one thing. But if they shipped it like this, people would be like firebombing their offices.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I mean, I look at glitches that plagued, you know, Assassin's Creed Unity, were essentially the death of that game on certain console SKUs, and we're seeing similar stuff on Cyberpunk. And I don't think people are as upset about it. And maybe they just haven't found it yet, and maybe they're just experiencing the game at their own. But I do think that this sets a bad precedent, and I do think that gamers deserve better to know what they're buying in on. And I do think that maybe the current gen versions of this game should have been either delayed or I mean, I hate to say it, maybe even canceled outright.
Wait, so current gen versions, by that you mean the only console versions that are out? Yeah,
yes,
right. Yes. So I'm thinking, if you're going to buy this game, if you're going to jump on this game, maybe holding off until the actual next gen versions ship sometime in 2021. Not good. Right. Maybe you're better off waiting, because I mean, here's the thing: with The Witcher 3, that launch that had some jankiness at first, it didn't look quite as graphically nice as the demos had been. And you know, some gamers got in CDPR's ass about that, and they were like, "Hey, chill. We're sorry. We apologize. We have tons of free DLC coming. We're gonna patch it left and right. We're adding finishers. Geralt has a new hat, like whatever it was. Like they added a bunch of free DLC, and they earned a lot of good faith with that. And I feel with with Cyberpunk's launch, like it's kind of squandering a lot of that.
I agree.
Like, and even the reviews, like we.
But how far does goodwill take you though? Like it's one thing if you did some good shit, and then it's like you did some good shit once, and then you fuck up once, and then it's like, okay, the goodwill carries you over to past the first fuck up. But you can't do some good shit one time, or just say the amount of times you fuck up outweighs the goodwill you put in. Like if you did like 5 good things, but you fucked up 20 times, like how far does that goodwill take you? It should almost be pound for pound. But it's like you just letting them do the shit to you. Look, it's not even really me bashing just CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk themselves, even though we're talking about them now. The real issue is the whole industry in general, because you have a lot of people doing this shit. They're rather price gouging people with microtransactions because they like we can make more money with this than the actual game costs. Like look at GTA. I think that they made more money off microtransactions than the actual sale of the game. And other companies are looking at it like, ooh, let's get involved in it. But it's like you're looking more, even though this is a company and companies want money, but it's like you're putting the profit over the actual product. But if you actually made some good, okay, look, if it's like, we're going to put this out, we don't give a fuck how it looks. We're just going to put it out. And then hopefully people are gullible enough to catch on and give us money. Some people do, they get paid. Some people are going to be like, man, fuck this, because this is trash. Then when they don't get the money they're expecting, they're going to be like, oh, people, we sorry, and we want you to come back. We'll fix it. Okay. But if you actually made some good shit, solid, day one, people will be happy to give away their money because you actually care about the people that's going to be playing your game. And then you could just sit back and be like, okay, cool, we see how people act. We're going to carry this trend. I don't even know why this is a trend. This should be business standards. We're going to actually make good shit so people could always be happy what they're paying for. We shouldn't have to be buying something and it's trash and then you want to be like, oh, we're going to fix it later type shit. Ever since the internet started popping up on these systems, that's when they had these type of mentalities. We'll put out some bullshit and fix it later. Like, what the fuck is up with that? That's complete trash. That is bad business standards and practices. What the fuck is up with y'all on some real shit? I don't. And then, like I said, people are accepting this. And then the companies are like, well, people are accepting it. Now, if people said, fuck these games, we ain't gonna pay for your shit until you actually make some good stuff. So then they want to be crying and whining and shit. No, fam. Just make the shit how it was supposed to be. Make good shit for the people to buy it, and then people will be happy with it. I never, this is the only industry that I've seen that got away with shit like this. Like, you don't go to a movie theater and watch a movie and then every so many minutes it's glitching, it freezes. You're going to want your money back at the theater. But people just be like, oh, we're gonna sit there to the end, glitches and all, and it's fucking up. And then when we buy the DVD or like get it digitally, then it's like the companies be like, oh, we're gonna like do movie patches. Like nobody would accept that shit. But it's like in the game industry, that's the only thing. Like what? Like this is the only industry that's allowed to do this shit. That makes no sense to me. That honestly makes no sense. It makes sense, but at the same time, it makes no sense. People should not accept this shit from nobody. You spend $60, some even more than that, but just the base game, $60. Like that's a cell phone bill for some people. Why? Why are we getting shit like this? Anyway,
We cut our first review using footage that they provided, and we've since gone to replace that, and you can see what actual footage that we captured on our end looks like. But that feels again kind of gross.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, like, the thing is, there was this big savior that was supposed to be this, gigantic day one patch, and we thought, or at least hoped, that would make significant improvement in things. And in some ways it did, right? Like, there's definitely, anecdotally, it seems like it's running a little bit better. But players who downloaded the patch on consoles are still running into issues. Obviously, like, what's disheartening about this is that we have seen big open world games, maybe not at this magnitude or have this many sort of interlayered complex systems. But stuff like Red Dead, and GTA, which is obviously an old game that gets continually updated, seems to run fine on base consoles. Now, obviously, yes, these are ancient consoles by tech standards, right? These are 7+ year old systems, and so you kind of get what you get buying into them. But that said, I do think that there should be a warning. I do think that this shouldn't have been kept from the millions and millions of people playing the games on those versions. And I don't think it's fair. Like, personally, I think it's straight up like disingenuous, and I don't think it's fair that millions of people have to experience the game in its current state like this.
No, this is the most heavily marketed early access game in history. Like, they should have pushed it till next year, and everyone would have gotten mad at them, but we would have had a better launch and a better product in day one. And I mean, obviously they are going to go in and fix it. I hope, and patch it all and make it run smoothly and look great. But I don't know, if you're announce a game for a platform. It would be cool if it ran on that platform. They revealed this. They revealed this game on the Xbox stage. They didn't do it at like the PC hardware showcase. Like, this has always been marketed heavily as a console game, and it was marketed long before the next gen consoles came along, and it still isn't physically purchasable for next gen consoles. So like, it kind of dropped the ball there. Kind of sucks.
Yeah, I totally agree. In the meanwhile, this is a game that millions and millions of people are playing right now. It's the most popular game in the world. It's going to end up being one of the most popular entertainment launches in history. And 41% of that audience is playing on consoles. And so let us know how your experience has been, the good, the bad, the ugly. If things are going well, let us know. I've seen some people saying, turn off certain effects and sort of like there's like film grain and stuff that helps things run a little bit better for the time being.
Why should we have to do that if we already spent the money so it could run? I mean, it's like we got to troubleshoot your shit after we spent the money for it. Again, what industry does this? Name one industry. I want the people to be on some real shit. Name one motherfucking industry that's allowed to do that. Like, you buy something and then you have to fix the issue of the thing that you bought. Like, who does that?
If you got tips like that, drop them in the comments. And for all things Cyberpunk, if you're stuck in the game, we got a wiki. You want to read the review, we got reviews. We have billions of hours of video content about this game right now. Finally. So go check it out.
And listen, if CDPR patches Cyberpunk and it looks perfect and runs great, then we'll come back and we'll patch this video and we'll say nothing but nice things. So just hang in there.
I actually just can't. I can't even come up with nothing right now. I really can't, cause you know what I'm saying. I ran into an issue with this jacket. I'm just like kind of just almost at a loss for words. Like again, why are people accepting this shit? You know what? Speaking since he brought up Red Dead Redemption, you know Cyberpunk is the first game, the first new game that I bought since Red Dead Redemption 2. And so that's been like what, 2 years? Because it's just something about the industry at this point where it just feels like, especially like me making my or trying to make my own thing. Like I just feel like my time would be better suited trying to make my game instead of playing other people's game. And I'm glad that I gotten in the position where it's like, yeah, I can make my own shit now. But it's like for those who don't, do this type of shit, it's like people got treated unfairly. And with the whole game industry, that's basically the reason why I stopped buying like games like I didn't buy Ghost of Tsushima or like whatever like titles people you know like and been playing whatnot. Like I haven't been playing these games like that because it's just something about them now that just doesn't sit right with my soul anymore. It's just like how people keep saying like, this game is a masterpiece, but then you trash the shit before, like they say it's a masterpiece before it is released. But then you say, oh, this is garbage. And then those same people will be like, well, how do you know it's garbage if you never played it? Well, how do you know it's a masterpiece if you never played it either? And then it'd be like, like I said, I'm not trying to say anything about this shit, but like for me, I've been playing games for a very long time. And at a certain point in time, you just realize what you like and what you don't like. You just get it to that elder god type level. Like you could just be the wise man on the mountain type and just sense that it's gonna be some bullshit. You got the long beard, you cross your legs, and you know what I mean. You get to that point. Like I already know what the deal is, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing like other games, like because it's just too much. It's too much of this type of shit going on where it's just like it's off-putting at this point. And that's on some real shit. And I like people really deserve better than what they're getting these days. I mean, this is what we got I mean, and then you took like what 7 years making this. Okay, then you got to ask yourself this question: why did it take you this long to make this game? And then if you look at the original trailer, like Homegirl was on her knees and she had the mantis blades, it seemed like that was two different games from what we got now to then. So it's like, was it in development hell? Did you want this to be this, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this seemed like it was supposed to be something totally different. Cause if a game is taking this long to make, and you got like a staff of a lot of people up there, you got the millions of dollars to, like, hire different developers and coders and all this other stuff. It's not like you're just one man in their attic making their own shit. I could see somebody was like, yeah, it took me 10, 20 years to make a game. Then it's like, damn, you ain't had nobody? Like, no, I was just doing this myself. Then that's understandable. But if you got like a staff of people that's been developing games longer than a couple months, and you got all this money and resources, you shouldn't be having this problem. Hello. Yes. I'm upstairs. No. All right. Bye. Love you. Bye bye. So I'm like, I just don't get the whole, just the sheer, like, why did this come out like this? You see what I'm saying? Like, I just really feel like something went wrong in the industry. Maybe they use the internet as the crutch. Like, we could just fix it later. Maybe they don't care. Maybe it's just like it's all about the money. But I'm just like, for me, it's almost like almost a retiring process or something. Like, maybe I gotta retire from just playing video, like playing other people's shit just outright. Maybe that's the deal. Cause this is uncalled for. And I mean, and this was a very overhyped game. If you're gonna have this much hype, wouldn't it behoove you as a company to be like, wait a minute, we gotta make sure everything is right, because we can't, knowing how this is, because we know internally, we know the problems. So this is overhyped. We gotta actually live up to this shit. But at the same time, it was almost like they was like, fuck it, we don't care. And if you got that fuck it, I don't care attitude, then people gonna, like I said in my video that this particular person got mad at, it's gonna be like, fuck it, then we're not gonna care either. And then they had like this little bitchy ass attitude, like it's ready when it gets ready. Like, and this is the game being ready. I mean, I said that in that video 2 years ago. I took it down and shit, even though I really wish I didn't. But at the same time, like, you had this little bitchy ass attitude, like it's ready when it gets ready. Now look at it. I mean, when is it ever going to get ready? they fucked up bad. They fucked up with this. I mean, this is 100%. This is uncalled for. I mean, you're gonna be acting like this. This is bullshit. But like I said, I don't know. It's just making me feel like I should literally be through with shit like this. What the fuck? Oh. I should seriously be through with these type of games, man. Just focus on me, cause I mean, you got people fucked up out here. And like I said, I'm literally going to be looking into trying to get my money back from this game. Like, after I get done doing this, I'm going to look into it. Because if you're going to have this, like, it's ready when it gets ready type attitude, like, you're tired of people asking you about it, but then you come out with some shit that the frame rates are dropping. Like, one dude from the IGN video, he was like, I tested the shit out, and it drops like to 10 frames and shit. Like, I'm not all that big on the whole frame rate and all this little technical shit. But I'm like, I mean, like I said, even with the Division 1 and 2 had these problems. Like, it crashed, it was glitchy. Yeah, it had these problems. So it's not like I haven't experienced this shit. But at the same time, and then I got my problems with Ubisoft. But at the same time, though, like, you have this overhyped game, and this is the best you got, and then you talking about wait to, like, oh, it is ready when it gets ready. You got these little attitudes, shit. Like, nah, fam. Like, I'm just concerned about the people. I mean, I got burned because I bought it. But at the same time, though, I'm looking out for the people. This should be some more standard. It should be better standards in the video game industry than this. I don't know what the hell is all this, like, bitchy little whiny attitude. Like, you tired of people asking you about a game that you put out a trailer like 7 years ago. Like, it doesn't take you this long to make a video game if you got like a team of nutsacks sitting up there and you paying them millions, like, not millions of dollars, but you got like a team of developers. You got different studios all over the goddamn place. It don't take you this 7 years or 10 years, like in Rockstar's case was GTA 6. It don't take you this long. The only thing I can see that takes a long time is the acting and the programming. Why? Because you already have assets that you carrying over from game to game. Like GTA, they, like, especially in the whole HD universe, they use the same assets in 5 that they used in 4. They just update them. 6 is going to be the same thing. Depending on the time, they could take out certain assets or objects or whatnot. You see what I'm saying? Or like, and obviously they're adding on to it. But if you already got like we'll say like GTA 4, like they had speakers or a lamp. You're basically going to carry that same object over to GTA 5, subdivide the shit or update it with a different texture, and then there you go. And it's not like you got to keep reinventing the wheel over and over and over again. I mean, so some things, like with this jacket, I already had the jacket with no sleeves. I just duplicated the jacket and added sleeves on it. And that took like all about 3 minutes. And I'm just one dude. If you got a team of people, you got a team of people to do 2D textures, 3D objects, character models, clothes, all these different things, the car designs, weapon designs. If it was me, I gotta do all this shit all by myself, which I already did. The character models, the clothes, the weapons, the terrain, because you obviously see at the bottom, you see this U right here. That's the Unreal Engine. I'm doing all this shit by myself, and it's taking you motherfucking 7-10 years, and then you want to get mad and be like, oh, it gets ready when you shouldn't have put out that trailer then. Like, I'm just like, I'm just the audacity that these nutsacks got when people be asking them questions. Like, you're the one that put out the trailer. People just wondering, what's taking so long? The only reason, if it was like somebody changed the story midway and they had to scrap all the shit, because I mean, hell, they paying for it, so fuck it. And we just, we gotta scrap all our shit. You know what I'm saying? Like even with GTA, the only they say GTA 6 is going to be in the past, so you can't use a lot of the assets from 5 into 6. But again, though, you have a team of people with you made $6 billion. Like, I'm not trying to pocket watch, but all I'm saying is, if you got over $6 billion off of one game, you could just literally just spend a cool billion and just be like, it really wouldn't take you that long, dude. But again, you're doing the shit. People asking, well, not Rockstar, the people ain't asking questions, but yeah, people are asking questions, because it's like, when is GTA 6? But it's like, we're making money off of 5, so I mean, the new heist is about to come out on the 15th. I mean, they're making mad money off of 5, so it's like, why should we come out with 6? To be honest, I don't know, dude. I'm just like, the industry is just, I don't know. It just ain't no real ones in the industry no more. It's just a whole bunch of like money grabs. It's just like, let's get a quick bag out of people and just let that be. And then they want to sit up there and be like, oh, we care about the consumer and shit. Like, I don't know about that, dude. I mean, especially after this, I don't know if you really care about the consumer. Because you got this overhyped game, and then this is it? This is what you came up with? I mean, look, I'm always hard on myself. Truth be told, how I had to fix this whole collar, I'm like, I'm not feeling how the geometry is. Could I just say fuck it and just keep going? Or should I just scrap it and just start over again? I've been literally thinking about that ever since I've been working on this and talking. Like, because it was like the things was kind of clipped in. And I was like, So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to seriously sit up there and just be like, oh, this is fine how it is. I'm like, nah, I fucked up somewhere down the line. I mean, from the outside looking in, like I'm gonna just save this right now. Come on, hurry up. But people shouldn't just be taking the shit. I mean, this is a lot of shit I didn't do. But at the same time, though, yeah, there's some shit. Nah. Like, look at this. See, I wouldn't dare try to be like past this office doing some good shit. I fucked up somewhere. And I ain't gonna sit up there and be ashamed to admit it or act like, oh, everything I'm doing is cool. Like, no, everything I'm doing ain't cool right now. Like, this jacket. Nah. I gotta keep fixing this shit on the side. Nah, dude. I'm already gonna fix this shit. And then what's the next thing you do? You shade, smooth it? Nah. See, look, and then look what happens. See, nope. See, but it's like the industry don't want to seriously sit up there and do that shit. It's just like, oh, just put it out there, and if anybody got a problem with it, then we'll fix it later. Shouldn't have that attitude, man. I'm like, damn. But that's just how it is. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I have to seriously get off camera and really focus on how to fix this jacket. Like, really make this shit. Because, like I said, I fucked up somewhere. And I know where I fucked up at. But I didn't see it until I saw that I fucked up. And it was like, damn, I know where I did it at. But at the same time, it's like, it just seems like the industry don't have the, like, the self-awareness to really critique themselves. But like I said, that's just how it is. I mean, and usually I do like a 30, like not like usually an hour long stream. So I'm about to turn this off right now, but all I'm saying is there's a lot of shit. I mean, Keanu Reeves, Mike Pondsmith, I mean, they still the dudes though. I mean, I hate to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the dudes to me. But it's just like how they did this game, and it seemed like Mike Pondsmith was more of a consultant than anything, because I don't see his name in the writing credits or like, you know, anything like that. So his hands ain't really on this game. He was just the consultant of it. But it's just like, I don't know, people just deserve better from all these these companies, period. Just period. But that's all I gotta say. I'm out, but that's just how it is.